Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergok, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at why Jaldabaoth was created and why Demiurge needed his alter ego for his plans. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as say thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. Jaldabaoth. The name alone was enough to instill fear and terror in the hearts of the population at the western edge of the nameless continent. The mere existence of this demonic monarch was an existential threat to numerous nations. Yet at the same time, it was nothing more than an illusion crafted by the great tomb of Nezarec. So the question arises, why? What were Demiurge's reasons for spreading fear and terror as Jaldabaoth? And as always, my explanation will be a longer one to fully unravel all of this. And let's start with the conception of this very persona of Demiurge's alter ego, because initially, Nezarec, meaning the Great Tomb, was completely in the dark about the strength and the mere characteristics and the power levels of this brave new world. Ein Solgon, for instance, had no idea how powerful the supposed Knights of Baharut actually were, who had attacked the village of Karn. In other words, from his very own perspective, extreme caution was required, and he also had an exit strategy if his grasp heart attack would have failed. And again, we are talking about a 9th tier spell here. And throughout the story, Ainz has repeatedly shown his aversion to engaging in battles where he lacks sufficient information. And because of this, Ein Solgon initially acted with extreme discretion, hiding his entire Grey Tomb from the eyes of the world. And even before the first contact with other forces actually happened, he instructed Mare to create several hills to conceal the Grey Tomb within a hollowed-out hill. And he also dispatched reconnaissance teams such as Sheltier, Sebas, and Solution to gather information. And naturally Ainz himself adopted the role of Momon the Adventurer to obtain further insight about the world alongside Naber al-Gamma. It was during this time that Demiurge's alter ego, the Demon Emperor Jaldabaoth, was also conceived. And this character was initially designed to target the Holy Kingdom, specifically serving as its great nemesis and antagonist, a fearsome and malevolent figure, intent on corrupting and plunging its people into utter misery. And disguised as this Demon Emperor, Jaldabaoth could operate in the outside world without jeopardizing Nezarec's secrecy or causing any diplomatic complications down the line. Because after all, it would have been highly suspicious if Jaldabaoth, of all people, the Demon Emperor, suddenly appeared in Nezarec's Grey Tomb as a servant of Ein Solgon, in front of Jerknith when he visited. So to maintain this facade, Demiurge adopted his frog demon form as his basically main body that he presents to the outside world in diplomatic matters, to further obscure his true identity. And the persona of Jaldabaoth was revealed to the world earlier than initially planned, during the punishment of the 8 Fingers for abducting Tuare. And this public debut established Demiurge's alter ego as a significant threat and enemy. At the same time, it set up Jaldabaoth as the nemesis of Momon the Adventurer, who became a legendary hero of humanity by standing against and triumphing over this grave menace. In other words, despite Jaldabaoth's defeat, this early revelation cemented him in the public eyes as a formidable threat, and his powerful out-of-nowhere appearance, alongside the appearance of the demon battlemates, underscored this immense danger that he posed. And remember, it took Evil Eye and 2 of her teammates to defeat just one of these mates. And Evil Eye, as the Theocracy of Slain knows, is a former member of the 13 Heroes, and powerful enough to inflict tremendous damage if she wanted to basically any civilization. And she alone is a serious threat to the Black Scripture and its elite members, except for the Godkin leading them, and of course for Zeshi. In other words, the existence of 4 additional mates, given that Nab at that time was Mormont's companion and presented that way to the wider public, was a shock to basically any major nation, especially to Slain, who saw the incident as linked to the emergence of powerful beings that occur roughly every 100 years. And this event also made the appearance of Jaldabaoth at the borders of the Holy Kingdom even more ominous and threatening. So much for the persona of Jaldabaoth, and now let's address the question of why Jaldabaoth is no longer Jaldabaoth, but has instead been replaced by a servant of his. And the reason here is relatively straightforward. Demiurge is a busy demon who doesn't always have the time to personally handle the daily intricacies of a campaign while assuming his alter ego and acting like it. And he is after all the de facto Minister of Defense for the Great Tomb of Nazareth, as well as an essential strategist and advisor to Eins Ol Goen. And therefore Demiurge needed a stand-in, which he accomplished by using a summon. Demiurge was capable of summoning an evil Lord of Wrath and deploying it in battle, and that's exactly what he did. The evil Lord of Wrath we see here is merely a summoning created by Demiurge, which is also why this evil Lord looks different from the one within the Great Tomb of Nazareth. So in short, they are not the same being. A point worth noting as background information because, again, the lives of actual members of the Great Tomb were not risked here. And moreover, the Evil Lord served another purpose. Like so many other actions taken by the Great Tomb, it was used as bait to lure out the enemies who had apparently attacked Shaltir Bloodfallen. And for this very reason alone, it made total sense to offer someone as bait who could be sacrificed without a significant loss. And despite being a mere summoning, the Evil Lord was still a sentient and independent entity. Like most demons, he also was rather sadistic and cruel by nature, but he also took immense pleasure in his specific role. On one hand, he delighted in demonstrating to people like Remedios Custodio, those who were self-righteous or believed themselves to be just, that all of their strength, training and supposed power, which they wielded to fight evil, were utterly insignificant compared to his own might. On the other hand, he found it tedious and boring to eliminate thousands of enemies and leave the remaining weaklings in a state of terror, already paralyzed by fear and despair before the battle even started. In essence, the battle was over before it had even begun. There was no resistance to break, there was nothing to disprove, no worldview to shatter, because he was already feared and despised and this great threat, and not just another threat to overcome in the minds of most people. So again, what he enjoyed most was shattering the egos and the self-images of righteous heroes like Remedios or, if he had fought him, Climb. He sought to destroy their identities, rooted in being heroes, and the related idea that they were somehow superior, morally and on a physical level. And simultaneously he dismantled their belief that, in the face of evil, they could actually make a difference and bring about change through sheer determination, strength and courage. And this in some ways is a beautiful metaphor for Overlord as an entire series. If people like Philip didn't overestimate themselves, if the Eight Fingers were terrified of Eins and Nazarick from the start, or if Jugnev immediately surrendered, then Overlord's story would only be half as engaging as it is. And with that said, now it's your turn. What are your thoughts on Demiurge, Jaldabaoth, his persona, and how the world perceived him? Let me know it down in the comment section. And with that said, please check out my German channel, my fantasy channel, and if you don't want to listen to my voice or accent, but are still interested in the things I have to say, I have made an AI channel narrated by almost a woman, where I use AI voiceovers for my videos. And the channels are all linked down in the video description. Also, please check out my Patreon if you want to support me beyond just leaving a like or sub. And with that said, I say thank you very much for watching, thanks to my Patreons for supporting this channel, and special thanks to Other Daddy Other, ASK, Bad Guy Bad Burrito 316, Bizarre, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Dan Pep, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feralchivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch V. Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazer, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, Oh Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Ruru, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Cune Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, Diorg Warboss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Zinukai, and Sonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.